late talker families, have my flashlight, middle of the day, studios, bright as the outdoors, so I don't need it. So there we go. I'm going to set it down. Hey, again, listening to the podcast that Colette and Steve just did, their first episode where they were answering questions. And what I heard a lot was, stay in the present, work on what they need now, watch the developmental pattern. It'll take care of itself if you keep thinking about what they need now. Choose what's important, right? Wow, as a parent, for me, that's a really tall order, and it's a lot of responsibility on me. And it's a lot of expertise that, frankly, as a parent, when I was going through it, and even now when I encounter parents, that's a hard thing. So I wanted to make the travel notes today about that. And here's what I have to say about that. This is one of those times when having good helpers around you are going to make a huge difference. That's a fairly plain, obvious statement, but here's what I mean. When you have your late talker in elementary school and you're wondering, what do we need to focus on? What do I need to put on these IEP goals? What do I need to work on at home? Having a really good helper in a speech language pathologist and having a really good helper in a teacher with whom you can communicate is going to be invaluable. And this is how. You're going to say, look, I'm trying to stay in the present. My main goal isn't just to have my son or daughter be doing everything the same as everybody else necessarily right now. My goal is to build the adult son or daughter to be happy, to have meaningful relationships, to be able to find work that's satisfying to them and have a life, right? So help me now. Here I am in second grade or third grade. Help me now decide. And what that helper should do and what they should be able to do is to pull out from this developmental path, how language develops, what we need in terms of achievement, what we need in terms of daily adaptive skills. They should be able to say, here's the developmental pathway. Here's the developmental continuum. These things right now match up with where your child is. And so this is why we're going to work on these. And they should be able to explain to you, we're choosing these things because the next step would be to build here and then to here and then to here. Here's how they fit into the developmental sequence. And here's how we are always thinking about this child as an adult, or as a middle schooler, as a high schooler. They should explain that to you. The second thing they should do is teach you. Again, they need to be experts on the developmental path and a multitude of different profiles of strengths and weaknesses. You only need to be an expert on your child. And by the way, you're 95% there anyway because you are their parent. Now, the developmental continuum, what development looks like, the framework of development, not really a big reason. Not really a big reason why you should know that. So that helper should sit down with you and give you a little mini annex course about development. They should be able to spend time with you. And this is a relationship, right? They're not going to sit down with you in one 20-minute conversation. But in that relationship with you and your child and your helper, whether that be a speech path or a teacher or some other developments that you might be working with, like maybe a physical therapist or an occupational therapist, they should be able to tell you, this is how it fits in, and yeah, let me teach you this developmental sequence. It's not hard. Well, it is complicated, but they can teach it to you for your child. There are texts and a lot of materials that lay that out for people. And over time, a relatively short amount of time, not one meeting for sure, but you will be able to understand that. And actually having that conversation and revisiting that conversation keeps everybody on the team on the right path and grounded. What it does as well is it keeps us from drifting or just looking at, certain standards or whatever and sort of saying, well, they don't have this one and this one and this one, we'll pick it, and not relating it to the adult child or the middle school child or the high school child. It's always important that we are aiming at a target. So do stay in the moment. Do pick the things that your child needs now that builds on what they have, gives the next step so that you can go to the next step and the next step and the next step. And use your helpers to help you determine that, and use your helpers to teach you to have insight into that and understand those developmental paths more fully. Kind of a complicated message, but I think it's so important, and I think you're going to absolutely enjoy learning about it, and a good helper should be able to do that for you. All right, well, bright day, so I'm not leaving the studio with my flashlight. I'm just leaving. Everybody have a great day. Enjoy wherever you are, and have a wonderful week ahead. Bye-bye.